The arrival of Capitan Tiago with 2 guests drew everyone's attention, even that of Fray Sibylla. It wasn't the captain general or his staff that caused the lieutenant to snap out of his reverie, or Fray Damaso to look petrified. Rather, it was the young man in deep mourning accompanying the subject of the oil painting. "Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Padre," Capitan Tiago greeted, kissing the priest's hands. The priest, caught off guard, forgot to give their benediction. The Dominican removed his glasses to stare, while Fray Damaso turned unnaturally pale. Capitan Tiago introduced the young man. "I present Don Crisostomo Ibarra, son of my late friend. He's just returned from Europe." At the mention of Ibarra's name, exclamations filled the room. The lieutenant approached, scrutinizing him. Ibarra, meanwhile, exchanged greetings with the group. Despite his mourning attire, he exuded an air of vitality, his features hinting at Spanish ancestry beneath his brown complexion. Recognizing Fray Damaso, Ibarra exclaimed joyfully, "The curate of my native town, my father's intimate friend." The room's attention turned to the Franciscan, who remained motionless. Sensing the awkwardness, Ibarra added, "Pardon me, perhaps I'm mistaken." The friar finally spoke, his voice altered. "You're not mistaken, but your father was never my intimate friend." Surprised, Ibarra withdrew his hand and turned to face the lieutenant's somber gaze. "Are you Don Rafael Ibarra's son?" the officer asked. Upon Ibarra's confirmation, he continued emotionally, "Welcome back. May you be happier here than your father. I knew him well, one of the worthiest men in the Philippines." Deeply moved, Ibarra replied, "Sir, your praise dispels my doubts about my father's death, of which I'm still ignorant." The old soldier, eyes brimming with tears, hastily withdrew. Finding himself alone, with no one to introduce him to the young ladies watching him with interest, Ibarra approached them. "Allow me to overstep etiquette," he said. "After 7 years away, I can't suppress my admiration for my country's most precious ornaments, the ladies." Met with silence, he was forced to retire. He then approached a group of men who formed a semicircle. Adopting a German custom, he introduced himself. "Gentlemen, my name is Don Crisostomo Ibarra y Magsalin." The others shared their names. One youth dryly said, "My name is A." Ibarra recognized him as a poet, whose works had fueled his patriotism. Learning the poet no longer wrote, Ibarra inquired why. "Because one doesn't seek inspiration to debase oneself and lie," the poet replied. A writer was jailed for versifying an obvious truth, that a lion's son is also a lion. As the poet moved away, a smiling man in native dress approached Ibarra. "Señor Ibarra, I'm Capitan Tiago from Tondo. I knew your father. Please dine with us tomorrow." Ibarra warmly thanked him but explained he had to leave for San Diego in the morning. Just then, a waiter from Café La Campana announced, "Dinner is served." The guests, especially the Filipino women, hesitantly made their way to the table. This scene vividly illustrates the complex social dynamics of colonial Philippines, highlighting the interplay between native customs, Spanish influence, and returning expatriates like Ibarra.